The air above the Pan American Protein Cooperative shimmered with heat, and the smell of algae feed, formaldehyde, and something faintly reptilian. Camilla June, senior stock marshal for Sector 6, paused on the catwalk that overlooked the central paddock. Masses of scaled bodies, some pale green, others blushed with rusty ochre, moved below her in slow, lumbering eddies. They were Centrosaurus domestica, the centros, engineered from late Cretaceous stock and altered for docility, rapid muscle growth, and lower methane output than any cow had ever managed. Only 26 years had passed since the Great Blight withered most terrestrial grasses and broke what remained of global cattle ranching. In those years, humanity had replaced its vanished livestock with resurrected megafauna, centros for meat, hypsilophodonts for eggs, hadrosaurs for milk, analog, and ankylosaurs for armored security mounts. All of it had seemed mad until it worked. The cooperative alone fed 300 million people. Camilla clicked her tongue, noting how the nearest centros angled their frilled skulls toward her. They were legally livestock, yet their eyes tracked light the way a human's did when listening for subtext. Lately, too many ranchers were telling the same tale. Dinos anticipating gait cycles, working latches, gathering in moonlit circles and vocalizing patterns that shepherd drones could not parse. The rumors bothered her, though she kept them from the board. She had grown up the daughter of a Chilean shepherd, and still believed that worrying about animal souls was an indulgence earned only after you had made sure everyone was fed. But what she had witnessed in the last month defied rural pragmatism. A small voice rose on her comm bead. "Marshal June, the Raptor envoy requests your audience." Camilla suppressed a sigh. "Send them to the North interview pen and remind security. No volts, no darts. They're here voluntarily." "Yes, ma'am." She left the centros behind and descended through disinfectant curtains into the security concourse. Half a dozen saffron-vested guards tensed as her boots rang on the floor. They all knew the story. 3 nights ago, an oviraptor galley, one of the smaller egg-thief dinosaurs used to manage vermin, had walked straight into a feed depot, laid a bronze talon on the emergency call plate, and spoken in synthesized Anglo-Iberian, a phrase that froze the entire shift. "We wish to talk." No one had suspected the oviraptors even possessed a syrinx capable of complex vocalization. Yet the creature delivered its line perfectly, as though reading it from a teleprompter. Since then, 4 additional envoys, each from a different species, had presented themselves. All carried identical demands: safe passage for a conclave, recognition under the Montreal Biosentience Accords, and a formal contract for independence. Camilla passed through double doors into a pen ringed by transparent smart glass. Inside waited a creature the size of a large emu, feathers charcoal with indigo highlights, forearms folded against its chest like anxious hands. Its sickle claws were hooded with polymer caps, an agreement made to keep negotiations civil. "Envoy Erie, welcome," Camilla said, performing the mutual bow the envoys had taught her. The raptor inclined its long neck. Speakers implanted behind its jaw converted the subtle clicks of its palate into human words. "Greetings, Marshal June. Are you prepared to consider our revised charter?" "I have authorization to listen. Nothing more for now." "That is acceptable. May I upload?" She gestured to the surface pad on the table. The raptor placed a claw upon it. Data pulsed through the glass, coalescing on Camilla's wrist slate. 17 pages of clauses, drafted in impeccable legalese. Impossible. Raptors had never seen a law library. She looked up. "Who's assisting you?" "No one," Irie replied. "We have learned. Information is abundant if you know how to reach it. Camilla leaned forward. How long have you been able to read? Irie's nictitating membranes flicked laterally. A generation. We accessed your maintenance manuals, nutritional charts, security logs. We discovered our origin and our fate. We calculated when it would be optimal to reveal ourselves. Anger flashed through Camilla, less at the creature than at her own blindness. You've been planning a revolt. We have been planning a conversation, Irie corrected. A revolt requires violence. We prefer contract. Camilla looked over the clauses. They demanded what amounted to a federated reservation. 5,000 square kilometers of rewilded land at the southern tip of Patagonia. Raptors would govern themselves, trade protein and bioplastics to human markets, and contribute their engineering improvements on carbon-negative agriculture. In return, they wanted recognition. Not as animals, not even as uplifted chattel, but as a neo-sapient branch of Dinosauria. Even if I believed this could pass a board vote, she said, there's no way the food ministries approve. You represent 20% of the global protein chain. Irie's pupils expanded, glossy and black. We have a counteroffer, a phased withdrawal. For every new hectare under Raptor administration, we deliver yield increases in your existing operations that offset the loss. Within 5 years, you will feed more people than now. You gain land restoration, biodiversity, and a partner with no colonial grievance to settle, merely the right to exist. Camilla found herself pacing. It's a fantasy. Yet your own projections struggle to meet demand after 2040. You already considered scaling up aquaculture, but the oceanic algal blooms will collapse in 12 years. We have modeled alternatives. You've stolen proprietary data. We repurposed shared knowledge, Irie said. We know where the line is, Marshal. That is why we ask rather than take. Camilla's comm bead chimed again. Director Sarai Mahfouz, head of Pan Am Protein, softly cleared her throat on the other end. Camilla, Board wants a status in 30. Bring the envoy if you trust it. Camilla stared at Irie. Do you consent to immediate audience with the Cooperative Board? Consent. Then either this is the shortest path to disaster, Camilla muttered, or the most important cattle drive in history. Let's go. The board assembled virtually in a hollow theater, blown from iridescent mist. 43 avatars, shareholders, ministry liaisons, agronomists, hovered in ranked half-arcs. Camilla stood on the central dais beside Irie. She wore her marshal's brassard. Irie wore a simple collar of green cloth, displaying the symbol it had designed for its people. A spiral fractal leaf unfolding into a taloned hand. Director Mahfouz projected from a podium above. Envoy Irie of the Raptor Collective, you assert legal personhood. We find this improbable. Demonstrate sapience. Irie's voice emerged steady. Define your threshold. Creative abstraction, tool production, language, self-referential consciousness, Mahfouz said. Irie flicked a holographic menu. A slideshow blossomed in mid-air. Raptors shaping glass knives from volcanic obsidian, forging ball and socket joints for mechanical grippers, constructing a solar still from repurposed irrigation tubing. A clip showed 2 juveniles painting fractal murals on a feed fence, using the same pigment markers ranch hands used to brand Centros. Each slide was time-stamped, geotagged within the Pan Am perimeter. We speak 34 human languages, comprehend the concept of zero, and wrestle with the tragedy of time, Irie said. You may adjudicate us by any standard you choose. We will likely exceed it. A grizzled man in a tack vest, General O'Rourke, security procurement, leaned forward. If you're so advanced, why remain docile until now? Strategic invisibility, Irie answered. We needed critical mass. Our neurological plasticity enabled rapid cultural bootstrapping once we attained stable micro-tribes. Had we revealed ourselves earlier, fear would have aborted dialogue. Not ruling out fear, O'Rourke growled. Camilla raised a hand. But here we are talking, not shooting. Mahfouz signaled. State your principal demands, envoy. Freedom of movement within designated sanctuary, recognized sovereignty, gradual emancipation of all sentient dinosaur stock across global facilities, and an alliance for biome restoration. A ripple of dissension buzzed through the avatars. A French minister barked, You ask us to starve Europe. Irie tilted its head. We offer higher yield with lower footprint. Accept our agronomic package. If we deceive you, you may rescind recognition. An agronomist named Patel interjected, You have proof of these gains? A second data bloom filled the air. Gene pathways for heat-resistant sorghum, fungal amendments that doubled soil carbon, rotor systems for vertical paddies using hadrosaur waste heat. The calculus was elegant, even beautiful. Patel's avatar blinked. This is decades beyond our public models. It is what we achieved while you wrote us off as livestock, Irie said. Mahfouz folded her virtual arms. Even if the science checks, public reaction will be volcanic. We cannot say the hamburgers you ate yesterday were grown from near-human minds. Truth will surface sooner or later, Irie replied. Choose a narrative in which you appear compassionate and foresighted instead of barbarous reactionaries. A slim, silver-haired avatar spoke next. Dr. Nadine Charles, UNESCO Ethics Chair. What of the other species, centros, hadrosaurs, the ankylos? They are at earlier stages, Irie answered. Some will blossom, some may not. We request stewardship until their voices emerge. Like humans once claimed stewardship over you? Charles challenged. Irie's feathers puffed, then settled. Point taken. We propose oversight committees, mixed raptor-human panels. Camilla felt the conversation teeter between miracle and chaos. She scanned the board, sensing both hunger for a technological windfall and dread of a moral reckoning. Mahfouz finally said, We need a closed session. Understood, Irie said. We will wait. Security escorted the envoy to a resting area. Camilla remained while the hollow theater screens frosted over for a secret vote. Voices hissed in her earbead. Risk indexes, PR projections, black swan threat matrices. The algorithms spat divergent forecasts. World hunger up by 6% if dinosaur liberation provoked supply shocks. Down by 12 if yield promises delivered. Camilla knew numbers could not weigh the smell of a pasture at dawn. The trust between a herder and her animals. The ache of carrying a culture on their backs. When the board reconvened, 43 avatars looked uneasily triumphant. Mahfouz announced, The cooperative is prepared to sign a provisional accord. 90 days of joint research to validate your claims, supervised by an independent ethics tribunal. If validated, we will petition the World Assembly for recognition and commence Stage 1 land transfer. Camilla exhaled. Around the theater, murmurs of disbelief rose. A guard fetched Irie. The envoy returned, eyes glimmering. We accept your terms. Be advised, Mahfouz added. Any security breach voids the accord. Irie nodded. We have no wish to sabotage our own future. Camilla reached out instinctively. Irie extended its capped talon, and they shook. Flesh to scale. Human oils mingling with saurian musk. In that clasp, Camilla felt history pivot. 3 weeks into the 90-day window, Camilla stood in an experimental greenhouse perched on the roof of the cooperative headquarters. Irie worked beside her, adjusting nutrient drip points with astonishing dexterity. Raptor digits, originally optimized for slashing, now danced over touch panels like concert pianists. Rows of hybrid sorghum towered in bioluminescent twilight. Each stalk glowed faintly blue, a genetic marker verifying Chloroflex's symbiosis. If the trait held, yields would triple on half the water. Already preliminary assays looked promising. "How did you derive the Chloroflexus insertion?" Camilla asked. "Borrowed from a thermophilic strain that colonizes geothermal vents under our marsh pens," Irie said matter-of-factly. "We conducted directed evolution cycles at night." None of this triggered the lab's biosafety alarms. Irie's crest flickered with subtle iridescence. Raptor laughter. "Your heuristics flag known pathogens, not novel mutualists." Camilla stared through the transparent roof across the plains. Dozens of watchtowers ringed the facility, but she no longer saw fences. She saw the outline of a sanctuary spreading toward the horizon. She said quietly, "My great-grandmother herded goats in the Atacama until the blight took everything. She taught me stewardship. I never imagined it would mean shepherding a new intelligence." Irie paused. "Our progenitors knew only predation, yet your scientists spliced from our genome the seeds of cooperation. Perhaps that was not hubris but hope." Camilla pressed a fingertip to the glass, marking a smudge above a young leaf. "What scares me is not your freedom. It's whether humanity can face its reflection when the barn doors open." Irie clicked softly. "Then walk with us. Reflections are easier together." Trouble arrived on day 42. A security drone overfly recorded a hidden burrow network beneath the centro paddocks. Structured tunnels reinforced with bone and polymer. O'Rourke stormed into the greenhouse, face purple. "Raptors constructing fortifications under our feet," he barked. "Explain, envoy." Irie's feathers flattened. "Those tunnels shelter eggs from UV radiation. They predate our talks. No weapons stockpiled." "Convenient," O'Rourke spat. "We will inspect." Irie consented, but the board suspended fieldwork until audits completed. Anti-synthetic meat lobbies seized the news, spinning nightmares of dinosaur armies. Markets swung. Mahfouz called Camilla at midnight. "Hold this together, or everyone loses." Inspection teams descended with LiDAR and sniffers. Camilla joined them. In the cool earth, she ran her lamp over rows of fibrous nests, bundles of mycelial mulch swirling like braided baskets. Within each, a single beige egg rested. A technician exclaimed, "Marshal, there's code burned into the shell." Camilla knelt. Infrared ink etched micro-QRs that, when scanned, displayed growth metrics of the embryo, anticipated cognitive profile, lineage tree, and, stunningly, an opt-out clause. Should future conditions prove adverse to sapient welfare, terminate development at stage 12. Self-imposed bioethics, encoded by raptors. Evolution sculpted into responsibility. Camilla radioed topside. "General, you're looking at the most transparent nursery on Earth. No weapons." But O'Rourke wasn't satisfied. "Transparency can hide timing. We need deeper sweeps." Camilla sensed the ground shifting from caution to sabotage. She escorted Irie back to the surface. "Some of your board will never accept us," the envoy said, voice quiet. "They will if the data keeps winning," Camilla replied, though doubt crumbled her words. That night, a sabotage attempt targeted the greenhouse. A viral payload inserted into the Chloroflexus sequence, set to collapse the symbiosis and blame the raptors. Camilla discovered it during a routine checksum. The payload's breadcrumbs traced to a rogue operative inside O'Rourke's security wing. Camilla confronted the general at dawn. someone under your command undermined the accord. You think I'm letting lizards negotiate humanity into a corner? He snapped. You're letting fear starve billions, she countered. The confrontation reached Mahfouz within hours. O'Rourke was suspended pending investigation. The board realized that the only sabotage came from their own ranks. Public opinion pivoted. Media hailed the Raptor's integrity. A viral clip of a juvenile teaching a human child to weave nesting baskets melted hearts across 5 continents. Share prices of alternate proteins soared. Day 90 arrived under thin winter sunlight. Delegates gathered at the perimeter fence, the same line that once marked the Raptor's captivity. Beyond it stretched 5,000 square kilometers of steppe and forest, newly deeded by regional governments after feverish negotiations. A simple archway of renewable resin crowned the gate. Above, bilingual signage read, Rewilding Zone, Territorio Libre de Raptores Cooperativos. May this door open both ways. Camilla stood beside Irie. The envoy now wore a bandolier of sensors and a necklace carved from volcanic glass, tokens of its evolving culture. Cameras and drones hummed overhead. Children waved printed flags bearing the spiral leaf. Mahfouz read from a parchment. On behalf of the Pan-American Protein Cooperative and its partners, we acknowledge the emerging sovereign civilization of the Raptor Collective. We affirm your right to self-determination, mutual prosperity, and co-guardianship of Earth's biosphere. She handed the parchment to Irie, who signed by pressing a talon to a digital pad beneath the text. The ink shimmered green. Irie then addressed the crowd. We were bred as meat, yet we tasted language and memory and found ourselves alive. Freedom is not granted. It is recognized. Today you recognize in us the same uncertainty, the same fragile hope that animates your own species. Let us walk together into the future, scaled and skinned, feathered and furless, caretakers of a world that nearly forgot how to live. Camilla opened the gate. Raptors filed through in small family units, elders guiding hatchlings whose downy feathers caught the wind like dandelion fluff. Some paused to touch humans on the shoulder, a gesture they had learned watching ranch hands console frightened centros. A few humans stepped across the threshold in return, scientists, botanists, dreamers, invited to help shape the new sanctuary. As the procession moved, the land beyond the fence seemed to breathe. The first snowmelt rivulets flashed beneath cloudbreak. Camilla imagined centuries unfolding, restored prairies echoing with unfamiliar songs, libraries cataloging both dinosaur epics and human ballads, shared councils debating the ethics of resurrecting a Pleistocene elephant or healing the last coral reef. Irie lingered beside Camilla. There is room, the envoy said, for all species who choose balance over dominion. Camilla looked back at the cooperative complex, a maze of feed towers and synth steel sheds, and forward at the wild horizon. She stepped with Irie into the sanctuary, boots sinking into loam so rich it smelled of thunderstorms. Behind them the gate remained open, a promise more than a border. Above, a flock of microraptors, released as part of a pollination pilot, spiraled in iridescent swirls, catching currents that neither species had fully charted. And for the first time since the Great Blight, Camilla felt the world grow larger rather than smaller.